So now we have 4 segments on screen. If we look on the left-hand side, this is where all our data is. It could be all our data from Eloqua, all our data from Salesforce, any system. In this case, it's from Eloqua, and you can see we have accounts, contacts, and CDOs on screen. And I'm going to go ahead and click into contacts. And let's say we have a situation where we want to invite everybody who is a vice president, who is a customer, who is in the healthcare industry to an event. Well, I can come here to customer type, and you can see down here I have all the different customer types available, including a count of how many are in the system. So right off, I'm better off than in some systems because I can see the count right there. I'm going to drag over customer and turn it into the first circle in our Venn diagram. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to industry, and I'm going to grab healthcare, and we will see immediately the overlap between how many customers we have in healthcare. You'll notice that one circle is bigger than the other. The customer circle is 505,000. The healthcare circle is about half the size at 250,000. And I can see that, and I can also see how much they overlap. They might overlap entirely. They might hardly overlap at all or not overlap at all. And this overlap here is exactly proportional to the quantity of healthcare personnel or contacts we have that are customers. Now I'm going to click on that. You'll see the highlighting there. And in the upper right-hand corner, we have the count box. And we can see that we have 50,000 or almost 51,000 people that are in that particular space. Now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to add job level, and I'm going to add vice president to the mix. And so now we'll see how all 3 circles overlap. And I'm going to again grab the overlap there and say, okay, how many customers in healthcare who are vice presidents do I have? Well, the answer is 4,016, and I don't think that's as big a number as I'd like. So I'm going to say, how many folks do I have who are vice presidents in healthcare that are not customers? And I can do that just by clicking on this little segment right here that is the overlap of vice presidents in healthcare industry but not customers. And I've now bumped that up to a healthy 19,869. Now, seeing this information and understanding the overlaps here is great, and that's what analytics tools do. But what they don't allow you to do is use the information easily. Now I can just grab this segment I've created, and I can come over here to the export area, and I can drop it on top of Eloqua, and it'll go out to Eloqua. It'll allow me to quickly say, what's the folder name I want to put it in, what's the list name, who am I going to email it to, and after I've done that, it will go and it'll create that Eloqua list in a very, typically it's about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And this is, right now we're working on a database of about 2 million records. So you can compare that to the number of records you have in your system. So Venn diagrams, though, is not all that the 4 segments can do. I can also come down here and do an interesting thing. I can choose a funnel, and you can have funnels based on areas of the world or different product lines or different business units. And in this case, I'm going to say I want to get into the mid-funnel area, and I'm interested how many people I have in the mid-funnel. So I've chosen 2 mid-funnel stages, remarket and inquiry, and I can see that those total up to about 1 million in the mid-funnel. And I'm going to grab that, and I can drag that again right onto Eloqua, or I could turn it into a Salesforce campaign, or I could drop it onto an Excel and I turn it into an Excel spreadsheet very easily. I can also grab that segment and I can turn it into a totally new circle on a new Venn diagram. I'll name it mid-funnel here. And when I'm done, this will create, a brand new Venn diagram, and now I could combine that mid-funnel stage with something. So let's say I'm thinking of doing a mid-funnel campaign to everybody that just owns iPhones. But I'm wondering, does doing a special app for the iPhone make sense? Is that channel worth investing in? So I can come over here to device, I can take a look at grabbing my iPhones, I can drop it onto the mid-funnel stage, and I can see that I've got decent overlap there, and in terms of the exact quantity, I've got 291,000. That's worth creating an app for. So that's terrific information. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's it's worth even going more granular. Is it worth doing an app for the education industry? So I'll drag education over, and I can see that there's a lot less overlap here. Also, the education industry is very small. If I click on that overlap, I can see there's only 17,000 there. So probably doing an app for the education industry, specifically for the mid-funnel iPhone, doesn't make sense. So this allows you to get a feel for your data in a much more effective, much more tangible manner than you can working with the Eloqua segmentation or even an analytics system. Because when you're done, you can take these segments you've created and just turn them into call-down campaigns for Salesforce Salesforce users, or turn them into Eloqua campaigns, Eloqua lists for marketing automation or nurturing. I can also work with geographies, and working with geographies is nice because let's say you want to do a segment for a particular, let's say for a particular area of the United States. So I can drag the map over. Let's say I want to do a webinar in the lower southwest United States, and I feel I need $250,000 to do a decent webinar, where I can choose my southwest states. If I add Nevada in here, I can see I have 143,745. That's really not enough to do a webinar. I'd like to bump that up to about 200,000 minimum, so I'll choose a few more states. I'm up to 190,000. I'll add one more here. There's 202,000. That's a good number to create a webinar. So I'll just go and create that in Eloqua as my webinar list. I can also do this not just on a United States basis, but I can also do this on a world basis. So let's say I want to drag the world over here, create a world map real quick, and I will go ahead and zoom into this a bit. And let's say I want to choose Spain, France, and the UK and Norway. And I can see that in those particular countries I have 125,000 contacts, just like we did before. I could turn that into an Eloqua list. I could turn that into a Salesforce call down campaign. I can turn that into another circle to use for more segmentation. So it doesn't matter whether you're working. It doesn't matter whether you're working on a world basis, a geographical basis, a state basis within a particular country. By the way, we support all Western countries. If you're trying to isolate things down from a Venn diagram basis or a funnel basis, Forethought Marketing's 4 segments will really support you. In addition, not only can we create these segments, we have the capability of saving them. When they're saved, you have the capability to come back to them in the future, and after they're saved, you can schedule them to go back move over into Salesforce or move over into Eloqua on a recurring scheduled basis so that your segments in your other systems are always updated. And you also have the capability of creating a nice dashboard, so when you come into the system, you can see all your segments and figure out which ones you want to work with and just click on them and go into them directly, and also see if they've changed due to data change over time. So that's the Nickel tour. We haven't shown you a lot of 4 segments. We haven't shown you the waterfall diagram. We haven't shown you matrix segmentation. There's a lot of additional power that you haven't seen here. So we'd love to show you a full-blown demo, something that's longer than 8 or 9 minutes. Give us a call, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch.